With a second half resurgence, Chelsea have managed to climb to 6th in the table after they were floundering down in 12th place in December. Mainly behind the goals of young English talent Cole Palmer, Chelsea are starting to rebuild. My job on FM24 is to restore the glory of the Chelsea Football Club by hitting these goals along the way. Win a domestic cup, win the Premier League, win either the Europa League or Conference League, win the Champions League, and for a bit of fun, see if I can both buy and sell players for £100 million. Your job, should you choose to accept it, is to hit that like button and consider subscribing to your friendly Aussie FM YouTuber so you don't miss out on any rebuilds in the future. So as usual, one of the first things I did was bring in a new director of football, and I brought in Paul Mitchell, who comes to us from the Monaco club in France. Have a look at this. Judging playability and potential 18 and 18 and negotiating of 17. So he's going to be doing the contract negotiations while we are obviously simulating through the seasons. So let's have a look at the tactics and the squad, and it's pretty awful. I've basically had to throw something together to suit the players that we do have. We'll take off don't need to be registered, just making sure I had the correct registered players. And this team it's not great at all. There are injuries all over the place. You see Fofana there, Lukaku is out on loan obviously. Nkunku is out for a couple of months, Chalobah is out for months. Jackson, he's out for a little bit, but he should be back pretty soon. Malang Sarr, he's out for up to 7 weeks as well. Benoit Badiashile, he's out for a long time as well. So it's not great here. This is definitely one of the toughest starts to a rebuild that I have. I think my goal here is just to get into Europe. So if we have a look at our schedule so far, we started off with a 4-2 win at home to Brentford, which is very good. Gallagher, Fernandez, James and Jackson getting the goals for us. We had a 2-0 loss away to Arsenal. A 1-1 draw at home to Man United. And then we progressed through in the Carabao Cup with Raheem Sterling getting a hat-trick over Oxford United. So nothing too great at the moment. Sitting in 9th place with 1-1-1. Of course, that gives us 4 points after our 3 games. No transfers in at this point in time because there was no money, mainly because of those big money moves that they actually made in real life before the season. So anyway, let's see how we do. Checking out how we've done, and it's a 7th place finish, which does get us into Europe. So that probably is our main aim for this season, is just to make sure we still have European competition. 11 losses throughout the season is probably not a great effort, I wouldn't have thought. There's a couple of really bad losses away from home there, with a 5-0 loss to Tottenham and a 4-0 loss to Liverpool. Let's have a look. We have scored quite a few goals. 6-2 at home to Bournemouth was a great effort. Let's have a look at the other competitions, and knocked out in the 3rd round by Liverpool in the FA Cup. It's a pretty tough draw for us to get straight up. And then knocked out in the semi-final to Man City 2-1 on aggregate. That's disappointing, that one. Let's have a look at our run. 6-3 win over Leicester in the quarter-final. That's wonderful. 4-3 win over Liverpool. There you go. They knocked us out in the FA Cup, but we knocked them out in the Carabao Cup. So who's the big winners now? Not us. And Tottenham on penalties in that 3rd round, because obviously we saw the 2nd round win earlier on. So let's have a look at the squad stats now. Just make sure we take that off. And it's not great. We have 4 players in double figures. So Raheem Sterling, Nkunku, Jackson and Palmer, all in double figures, but that just no one standing out. There's no one up front for this team to really score goals. Obviously in real life, Cole Palmer has been doing a lot of that and has had a fantastic, especially second half of the season. If we check out the assists, Reece James obviously right up there, Gallagher and Fernandez as well. I don't think Enzo Fernandez is actually that great on the game. So might be someone who we could cash in on his big transfer value at some point during this save, I think. Anyway, let's go on to season number 2 and see what we did to start the season. Okay, let's have a look at our transfers now for season number 2. And of course, that is one there that Chelsea have actually done themselves. So we'll go on to the ones that I have actually done, and that is Goncalo Inacio. He's coming in as a centre-back, a left-footed centre-back, and as far as left-footed centre-backs go, this guy's probably one of the best ones that you can get, who is under the age of 25. It says good Premier League player, but I think he's a little bit better than that. Heading of 17, passing of 16. Tackling is probably a little bit low, but he's very good with the ball at feet, which is what we need at the moment. We need someone playing the ball out of defence. And João Neves got him for £45 million, which I think is a fantastic deal, because I think this kid can become one of the best players in the world if you get him at his higher range of his potential ability. He's already got plenty of 16s and 17s all throughout his mentals and his physical abilities, so he's already played 3 games for us to start the season as well, at only 19 years of age too. Looks like he's like a really enthusiastic kid too, judging by that cheeky smile. On the way out, we have sold Malang Sarr to AFC Bournemouth. And just one other deal that we have brought in, and we have got a new keeper, because I don't think the Chelsea keepers are that good. So we're bringing in Diogo Costa. So probably one of the best keepers in the game. It just speaks for himself, really. Plays that sweeper keeper role really, really well, which is something that I think you really need to do when you're playing in the higher leagues of Europe. You need to have a really good sweeper keeper. On the way out, we have Chavez Chalobah going to Al Hilal. Buddy Ashley going to Barcelona. Of course, Lewis Hall, that's one that's already coded into the game, going to Newcastle United. Cucurella going to Al Hilal. Lukaku going to Al Ahly. And Harvey Vale going to Crystal Palace for $7.5 million, which I think we probably got a great deal with that one. And Alpha Gilchrist going to Norwich City for £1.1 million as well, just raising us quite a lot of money there. So onto our tactics. I couldn't get a striker. I genuinely could not get a decent striker. So, I mean, I could probably put Nkunku up front, but I think his best role is as the shadow striker. So Palmer, Sterling, flank him on either side. Gallagher and Fernandes in the middle with Neves at the base of midfield. That could probably move around a little bit between them. And of course, Reece James as the attacking wing-back. He is absolutely outstanding in that role. So he is definitely one we've got to keep there the whole time. But yeah, I couldn't get a decent striker. Either the ones that would actually improve us, that were just too expensive, or they didn't actually want to come to us because we were only in the Europa Conference League. I think once we progress through and get up into the higher realms of European competition, then we should be able to get some decent players from there, which hopefully we should be able to do from this season onwards. So checking our schedule now, and didn't start too well. A 2-1 loss away from home with 2 very late goals from Newcastle. That's really disappointing. But then at home, a 6-0 win with Nkunku scoring 4 and Sterling scoring 2. So maybe this tactic could actually do something for us. Arsenal then, a 0-0 draw, a really good result away from home, and another really good result as well. Everton 2-0 at home. We check our Europa League competition now, and here are our fixtures. So Sevilla, Dinamo Kiev, Servette, Partizan, Basel, Red Star, Hajduk Split and Fiorentina. We should be going through in the top 8, I think, with those fixtures, which we probably should be doing anyway in the Europa League, regardless of who we're playing in that competition. So checking out the table now. So 2 wins, a draw and a loss. That puts us in 6th place at the moment in this very early stage of the season. No real surprises so far, but let's see how we do for season number 2. End of season number 2 now, and we have gone a little bit backwards. We've gone into 8th place. We had 1 more loss than we did last year. It's not great, to be honest, and just missing that real striker has probably cost us only 56 goals, which is just not good enough, although we did put 8 past West Ham, which is quite funny. Yeah, just not a great season, but as I said, there's just not much we could have done without those strikers. However, as you see, there is a Champions League symbol next to our name, and that's because we have won the Europa League with a 4-1 win over Villarreal in the final. Sterling, Inacio, Nkunku and Fofana getting the goals, and they only got a late goal in the 92nd minute. In fact, we absolutely dominated this game. Their only shot on target was that goal by Alex Baena in the injury time of the second half. So checking out the FA Cup, a quarter-final loss to West Ham, 3-1 in extra time. That's a bit disappointing. 4-2 over Lincoln City, 5-1 over Derby County, and we started that off with a 2-1 win over Sunderland in a replay by the look of that. And Carabao Cup, a quarter-final exit from Man United. Checking out our stats, and of course Nkunku led us for the goals with 21 goals throughout the season. Joe Neves chipped in with 14. Palmer and Sterling also getting themselves into double figures. Checking out the assists, and this is probably where we really struggled. Reece James only getting 5 assists is really bizarre, to be honest. He usually has just season upon season of double figure assists, and to only get 5 is really poor. But 4 players getting 9 assists there, so it did spread out a little bit, but you can see where our issues have come from. Checking out our transfer budget for next season, just under £100 million with £400,000 per week in the wage budget, so we've got plenty to play with, which is really, really good. Let's see what we can do with that. Okay, it has been a massive summer. Just one more on the outs. Kepa went out to Tottenham during the January transfer windows. Obviously one arranged by the director of football. I have no issues with that at all. But Jeremy Pino comes in, £100 million, spending a lot of money, but of course he's already worth well over that. This guy is world class. He is a fantastic player as an attacking midfielder and can potentially play up front if we needed him as well, but definitely someone who's going to be playing on the wings or the shadow striker role. Martin Bacciarina, one I really like to bring in. He's going to come in probably more as a backup for now, but a really good backup. He's going to be on loan for the first season, and then he'll come into us from the 4th season. And Kimar Sandoval is another player that I think is more going to be a backup, looking to probably play him in maybe the 5th season. This guy becomes a really good player. Of course, Kendry Paez is one that's coded in by the game. He comes in from Independiente del Valle. Mohamed Simakan for only £42.5 million. This guy is a beast. Going to play more as our centre back on the right hand side. So this is a wonderful purchase for us. Oscar Gluck comes in. Again, really good attacking midfielder. Sets up plenty of goals for his team and can slot them away as well. Doman Grill's going to come in just as our backup keeper. Solid keeper should he get the chance to fill in. And finally, we have the striker we have been craving for the past couple of seasons. It is Marcus Thuram, who is coming in from Inter Milan. Fantastic pickup, this one. Finishing probably 15. You'd probably want that a little bit better if he's going to be a world-class striker, but he's got everything else to get him in position to actually get those goals. Composure a little bit lacking as well, but he does bang in the goals. We picked him up for £81 million, which I think is a great deal. On the transfers out, we sent Raheem Sterling off to Saudi Arabia for £74 million. He wanted to leave. Not much we could have done about that. Disasi went out for £48.5 million. I don't think he's worth anywhere near that, so that is a great deal. Nicholas Jackson went out for £33 million. He is not that great in the game, I don't think. And Robert Sanchez went out to Al Ittihad for £16.5 million. Jimmy J. Morgan was never going to make the first team squad, so to get £6 million up and getting just over 9.25 on the add-ons, I think is a really good deal for us. Checking what that does for our tactics, and yep, we are going attacking this season. So here we go. We're going to have the 4 in behind Thuram, with Caicedo being in the base of midfield. And of course, Reece James being that attacking wingback. Hopefully he does a better job than he did last season, to be honest. Checking out our schedule then, and it has been a really good start for us. 3 games in the Premier League. All have been wins, with Marcus Thuram scoring against Bournemouth. 3 goals to 1 against Brighton, with Thuram, Madueke and Nkunku. And then a 2-0 win away from home to Burnley, with Thuram and Nkunku scoring. And of course, we won on penalties in that Super Cup final against Liverpool, who obviously won the Champions League. Oscar Gluck getting himself on the scoreboard in his first competitive game for the club, which is a fantastic sight to see. So this is what we have for our fixtures For the Champions League, we have Milan, Porto, Young Boys, Monaco, Real Madrid, Leipzig, Partizan and Ajax. A couple of hard games in there, but more games that we should be winning. So I think probably top 8 is where we will need to be for that one, but we'll get very close to the top 8 if we're not there. And of course, with those 3 wins, we are in second place at the moment with a goal difference of 5. Man United out on top with a goal difference of 8, but obviously early point in the season, so let's see how we do for season number 3. Checking out our results for season number 3, and it is a second place finish in the Premier League. A fantastic season by us. 10 points behind Man City, who have run away with it, of course, but 8 losses, some pretty frustrating ones in there, with Norwich City and Brentford probably being the annoying ones. We've had some pretty decent wins. We're scoring quite a fair few goals, so if we have a look at our goal total, 72, it's much better than what it has been in previous seasons. Our defence has been really good, and having Diogo Costa as our goalkeeper, only conceding 37 goals, and that is the 3rd best in the league. Checking out our other competitions, and we have come runners up in the FA Cup, so we couldn't quite get another one of our challenges. Of course, winning the Europa League knocked off one of our challenges. Couldn't quite get another one. Runners up in the FA Cup. That's a little frustrating. A 2-1 loss to Man United. Of course. Let's check out semi-final. 3-0 over Tottenham. In the quarters, 4-0 over Arsenal. So we've done it the hard way by the look of things. A 4-2 win over Burnley in the 5th round. A 5-0 win over Fulham in the 4th round. So a lot of goals here. Let's see where we are. A 3-0 win over Birmingham City. Knocked out in the playoff round by Real Madrid. That is not a great result for us at all. Having to play Real Madrid is probably the bad point there. And Real Madrid didn't even make the top 8. That's really weird. So, in 18th place, not a great effort in the Champions League, although we did beat Ajax 7-1. A couple of draws with Partizan and Young Boys. That's disappointing. We should be beating both of those, even though we did have to travel to Switzerland for the Young Boys match. And 3 losses, a 6-2 loss to Leipzig away from home. That's poor. So not great in the Champions League, but having to then come up against Real Madrid, that's just really bad luck of the draw, that one. Checking out our stats for the year, and Marcus Thuram got 24 goals in the season for us, and Nkunku with 21 as well. Cole Palmer and Madueke getting 15 and 14 respectively. João Neves getting over the double figure mark too. And Reece James, there you go, got himself up to 14 assists. And Madueke getting 12, with Chilwell with 10. Transfer budget wise, we have 80 million for next season, with just under 200,000 in the wage budget. So we probably need to look at selling 1 or 2. Just to get that up a bit further so we can really make a dent in Man City's dominance. Of course, if you like what you see today, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for all future content. I'm trying to get myself up to, let's say, 500 subscribers by the time FM25 comes out, which would be a fantastic achievement, I think. FM25 is going to be a wonderful game by the looks of things if they get it right, so I'm hoping I can be here to produce so much more content for you guys when that game comes out. But for now, on to season number 4. Season number 4 now, and to start off with, this is actually one that occurred during the season. So the director of football has actually brought in Thomas Lamar on loan, who's now become permanent. So he helps as a backup as a left wing, so that would have been an emergency signing by the looks of things, because we had a couple of injuries during the season, which is fine. Now we've got Pedri, who is coming into the side. £100 million for Pedri. There we go. So another player that we bought for £100 million. What a player this guy is. Ball at the feet, an incredible playmaker. Should be setting up plenty of goals for us. Has already played 4 games. Hasn't quite got an assist just yet. Hasn't played many games for Barcelona, which is really, really strange. So I'm not sure what's happened there. But yeah, £100 million is a fantastic deal for us. We also sold Wesley Fofana out to Arsenal just before the start of the changeover of seasons, raising a bit of extra money up to £62 million with add-ons, which is a great deal. On the way out, Christopher Nkunku and Conor Gallagher wanted to go. There was not much I could do about it, unfortunately, and Enzo Fernandez just was not good enough, to be honest. Yeah, he's not an elite player in this game, I don't think, or at least what I had of him, he was not an elite player. So he went out to Saudi Arabia for £34.5 million, and Bashir Humphries went out to Al-Wada for £10.25 million. There we go, we had that Thomas Lemar deal. Fran Garcia coming in from Everton. He's going to be more of a backup left back, but a bit more of an attacking option than Ben Chilwell is. That's Ismaila Toure. He is a regen player, so he's going to be more of a backup for us. Hopefully he can do a job for us. Probably not so much this season, but hopefully next season he'll be there as our main backup defensive midfielder and centre back. And Karim Adeyemi comes in. Really good physicals with his pace and acceleration. Causes a lot of problems if you play him in the right positions. He can play on either wing, or he can play up front as well naturally. So hopefully he is going to get us either plenty of goals or plenty of assists. So what that does for our tactics, now we have just dropped one of those players in the attacking midfield line. We just dropped them back a little bit, and Pedri is going to be, for the most part, the player in the centre of midfield as our attacking playmaker, and we still have pretty much everything else very similar. Gusto's in there only because I think Reece James is injured at the moment. He is out for 2 months, so that's not a great start to the season for us. But Malo Gusto looks like he's done a decent job so far to start the season. Schedule-wise, it's been one of the weirdest starts to the season I have ever seen. Started with a 0-0 draw away from home to Burnley, then a 2-2 draw at home to Brentford, and then a 1-0 draw to Tottenham away from home, and a 1-0 draw with Man City at home. So a couple of these are actually not bad results. The Tottenham and Man City games, not bad results. These two we should be winning though. Burnley and Brentford we really should be winning. Competitions wise, and that puts us in 13th place. So 4 draws to start the season is not a great start. Erling Haaland in 4 games has 10 goals already. So I think Man City are going to be a very strong side, despite West Ham being on top of the table at the moment. Quickly checking out our Champions League fixtures, and we have Atalanta, PSG, Bayer Leverkusen, PAOK, Barcelona, Man City, Fenerbahce and Genk. Again, we've got probably 4 games we should be winning in that lot, and the others we will be doing very well if we get a result, maybe pinch a win out of those bigger teams. Well, here it is. It's a big season for us. Season number 4. Let's see how we can do this time around. End of season number 4, and it's a 2nd place finish again, 20 points behind Man City this time. We were 3 points worse off than last season, but still getting into 2nd place is a wonderful achievement. Our 7 losses there, a couple of silly ones, twice to Crystal Palace, and Everton as well is not a great one. Everton was struggling all season. In fact, Crystal Palace got relegated and they beat us twice. And Everton beat us as well, and they almost got relegated. So a couple of games that we could have done better, but we're never getting anywhere near Man City's achievements this season. Erling Haaland ended up with 40 goals. Good to see Marcus Thuram in there with 27. 7 player of the matches as well for Marcus Thuram. He came equal second for player of the matches, and he had half the amount that Erling Haaland did. That is insane. Checking out other competitions now, and another knockout playoff round loss, this time to Nice on penalties. That's a game we should be winning. So let's have a look and see what we did in the league phase. We came 11th. So 4 wins, Genk, Fenerbahce, PAOK and Atalanta. Atalanta 8-2. Wow, that's amazing. 2 draws, Man City and Barcelona, really good results, and 2 losses by Leverkusen and PSG. That's pretty much how I would have expected it to have gone, to be honest. So getting to 11th place, yeah, not a bad effort. Unfortunately, that doesn't see us through, and we got knocked out in the playoff round. Quarterfinal exit to Arsenal there. 4-1 is not a great achievement for us, and a 4th round lost on penalties. On penalties to Leeds United, so not good there at all. So after we lost in the FA Cup, we did beat Liverpool, Brighton and Arsenal, but 3 losses and 2 draws in that time is not a great effort. A 5-1 win though at home to Arsenal is fantastic. 97th minute goal to Romeo Lavia. Let's check out our stats for the season, and Marcus Thuram getting 31 goals, but he is unhappy and he wants to leave, so I don't think we'll be keeping on to him, unfortunately. Karim Adeyemi with 17 and 8, Cole Palmer 10 and 5. So assist wise, Jeremy Pino with 11, Madueke with 11, and Oscar Gluck with 10. Reece James again struggling. Might have to look to see if that's actually the correct role for him. See if there's anything else we can give him, because usually he's really good at getting a high amount of assists. Transfer budget then, we have quite a lot, £100 million with £240,000 to play with per week. Come on, 5th season, we need to try and win a Premier League, and let's try and win a Champions League as well. Let's see if we can do it. On to season number 5, what do we do? Okay, first up, we did sell Malo Gusto to West Ham United for £27 million. And then, as discussed before, we sold Marcus Thuram. He was unhappy that we didn't get to the latter stages of the Champions League, so he went to a club that does not play in the European Champions League. So, I don't know, whatever. So he went out for £71 million, and our in, so Richard Johnston should just be a backup. This is a regen, but looking really, really good already. Victor Osimhen up front, here we go. This is the kind of player we really, really need to take us to the next level. Absolutely incredibly well class. 3 goals in 4 games, just double figures for many seasons so far in top European leagues, Serie A, and of course Liga before that. Vitor Roque from Barcelona as well. So he's yet to make a game because we only just brought him in, but £62 million. Again, didn't play that much for Barcelona, so not sure what they are doing with their players. And then Mamadi Diambo is just going to be a backup in the centre of midfield for us as well. Someone who could definitely do a job when required. We have Turin Koopmeiners that we have brought in on a free. So this is a wonderful pickup on a free. So this guy can play anywhere in the central midfield, whether we play him as one of the defensive midfielders, centre midfield, or attacking midfield. This guy is fantastic. 4 games for us so far and got a goal already, so that is a wonderful free transfer pickup. So tactics wise, we are going for a bit of a narrower formation this time. Double Segundo Volantes in the defensive midfield line. I think this works really, really well when you've got a narrow formation, because they tend to push out wide either side, but then come back in to do defensive roles as well. And then the front 4 is just going to be all out attack for us. I've now decided to have both of my fullbacks playing as attacking roles. The 2 centre backs are fantastic, and then these 2 also provide some cover as well. Checking out the schedule, and it's mostly been a good start. So a 2-0 win at home to Brighton, a 2-1 win away to Tottenham, a 3-2 win at home to Everton, with Osimhen getting all 3 of his goals to start the season there, and unfortunately a 2-1 loss away from home. Looking at our Champions League run, so we've got Benfica, Man United, Lazio, Rennes, Juventus, Milan, Celtic, and Dinamo. It's pretty tough games there, to be honest. I think that's just about our hardest draw. I think we should go through probably into the knockout playoff round again with those. But if we manage to get to the top 8, then we've had a fantastic Champions League campaign. Checking the competitions, and we are currently in 2nd place with Nottingham Forest, now the ones on top of the table. So we are a point ahead of Man City, which is probably our main rival for this season. But here we go. This is our 5th season. We still need to win the Premier League, and we still need to win the Champions League. Let's see what we can do. It's Premier League champions. 90 points is a fantastic total. Only the 6 losses: Arsenal, Liverpool, West Ham, Man City, Fulham, and Newcastle United, all away from home. Our draws, in fact, by the look of that, we have almost had a perfect season at home. If it wasn't for that 0-0 draw to Brentford, that would have been a perfect home season. Some big wins there too. 5-0 away to Burnley, 7-0 at home to Sunderland. So a Wonderful achievement. Adeyemi and Osman both getting themselves up there. 24 goals and 23 respectively. Reece James, there you go, young man. 12 assists, and Osman and Chilwell both getting 9 assists. So this has been an incredible season. Let's have a look at 109 goals. That is amazing. So this has really worked out for us now. Going that more narrow formation in FM24, I think actually works really well. Those Segundo Volantes do work well too. So checking out the rest of our competition, and it's Champions League winners too. And we've beaten Arsenal 2-0 in the final. That is amazing. We've travelled to Athens to do it. Osman and Adeyemi, those two wonderful attackers for us, have done the job. What a fantastic achievement. So that just ticks another box for us. 2 of those done this season with the Premier League win and the Champions League win. Let's have a look at our run to the Champions League. So in the league phase, we topped the table. 6 wins. Fantastic effort there. Plenty of goals scored once again. A couple of draws at home to Milan and away to Benfica. Again, plenty of goals scored. In fact, let's have a look and see how many goals we actually did score. 29 goals in 8 games. What a wonderful achievement that is. So clearly we went straight through to the round of 16, where we beat Borussia Dortmund 7-3 on aggregate. Plenty of goals again. And then in the quarterfinal, we beat Inter Milan 5-2 on aggregate, still scoring plenty of goals. The semi-final, we beat Atletico 7-2 to get into that final where we beat Arsenal 2-0, of course. So competitions-wise, quarterfinal loss to Manchester United. So we didn't quite get that domestic cup goal of ours, but we have got the European Champions League and the Premier League, of course, this season, and a 4th round loss to Bolton Wanderers. So having a look at our schedule then, there's that massive 7-0 win at home to Sunderland. Koopmeiners is getting a couple of goals and Adeyemi getting a hat-trick in that game. Bit of a ropey April, which you'd expect having been in the Champions League during that and having 3 fixtures tacked on to our usual Premier League fixtures for being in the Champions League latter stages. But then a perfect May has seen us get home. Goals for the season, we have Adeyemi on 33, Osman on 28, and Cole Palmer on 21. He has been a fantastic backup for us as well. Pedri getting 16 and Oscar Gluck getting 11. Looks like the midfielders tend to spread around their appearances quite a fair bit, so they start quite a few games, they have bench time quite a few games, and coming off on as substitutes. Assist-wise, Reece James with 29 assists. That's much better. Fran Garcia with 13, Pedri with 11, Chilwell with 11, Osman with 11. By the looks like, I reckon Reece James just wanted that wing to himself. And when he did that, he had plenty of assists. Checking out our best 11 throughout this save, and of course Diogo Costa in goal. What a fantastic pickup he was, and is very much world class at the moment. So 139 goals in 141 league games he conceded. Reece James, of course, as right back. Giancarlo Inacio, a fantastic pickup for us. Levi Colwill, in fact, goes in as the left-sided centre-back, which is interesting. And Ben Chilwell goes in as the left-back, of course, 235 appearances. In fact, he played the most for us during this save. Romeo Lavia goes as our defensive midfielder. I'm not sure about that one. João Neves was a fantastic pickup, of course. 40 goals in 194 games is a wonderful achievement for a central midfielder. Moses Caicedo comes in as his partner in centre midfield. It's funny that they've chosen this tactic. It must be one that I ended up using the most, probably because I used it for the first season, maybe. I'm not sure. Cole Palmer gets himself into attacking midfielder. I would have thought maybe Nkunku there, but Cole Palmer was there the entire way through. Adeyemi on the left wing and Marcus Thuram up front. 55 goals in 93 games is really, really good. Sanchez was our first keeper, and yeah, he's just not quite good enough, I don't think. 6.73 average clearly shows that. Mohamed Simakan coming in was a fantastic pickup for us. Wesley Fofana did a really good job until we got some better plays in central defence. Noni Madueke was really, really good for us for the most part as well. Nkunku was great until he wanted to leave. Oscar Gluck, another really good pickup, and Victor Osman only playing the 1 season, but he gets himself into that best 11 with 28 goals in 39 games. Okay, so just a quick recap on those goals as well. So first one was to win a domestic cup. We didn't quite do. We reached the final of an FA Cup, but we didn't quite get to lift a trophy at Wembley. We did, of course, win the Premier League in our final season, a fantastic achievement, that one. We won a European Cup, being the Europa League in the 2nd season, so again, a fantastic achievement. And then, of course, we went on to win the Champions League as well in our final season, which was an awesome effort. And then I wanted to buy a player and also sell a player for £100 million. Unfortunately, we didn't quite sell any of our players for that much. However, we did buy 2 players for £100 million. Somewhere on the screen right about now will be my Wigan rebuild, where I took them from League One into the Premier League. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel for future FM content. And of course, the most important thing, you make sure you have yourself a wonderful day.